Good afternoon once again, and welcome back to the doubleheader second, or part two, wherever you're from. We are very excited, coming off yet another win, but it was a nail-biter all the way down to the fifth set. The Lady Lions get a victory over Southwestern Christian University. Our very own Kristen Urban, sideline reporter, caught up with Suzanne, our MVP of the game. Kristen, what did Suzanne have to say?
Thanks, John. Suzanne, Southwestern Christian put up quite a fight today. How were you able to come out with the win?
I think we did a great job today, and we fight with our hearts, and we won the win, so we got it.
How do you plan on carrying this momentum into your next game against Oklahoma Wesleyan?
Oh yeah, we're ready for that, and we're gonna win. We want to, so I think we're gonna be doing great.
Thanks, Suzanne, and congratulations. Back to you, John and Devin.
Suzanne Figueiredo. Devin, you didn't think I could do it. I saw the doubt in your eye.
Pleasantly surprised.
I've been working on it. She's worthy of being pronounced, the whole name being pronounced, although we do say Suzanne because it's kind of tough. It just doesn't really come fluently to me in the middle of a match, but at least in pregame, we owed her that much. She did a great job in that first match against Southwestern Christian University. They were legit. They were a great team. And is that going to have anything to say in this game, putting so much effort, 5 games worth of effort into, and they got a little bit of a layoff here in between that game and this game coming up against Oklahoma Wesleyan University?
I think they, coming off of especially last night and then coupled with another hard match this morning, the Lady Lions are definitely up there in terms of stamina. They train for weekends like this. So Coach Moore practices his team to be ready for a weekend like this rather than for the latter where maybe they only have one game a weekend. So they're physically ready. I think that this morning they showed a lot of mental strength, overcoming some really foolish mistakes, honestly, from a lot of different players on the SAGU team, but they were able to overcome that. So I think this afternoon in this match we'll see hopefully those mistakes eliminated, and they'll keep playing at a high level against Oklahoma Wesleyan. But at the same time, Oklahoma Wesleyan just came out of a match, so they didn't even have the hour-and-a-half break that the Lady Lions did in between. So both teams are going to have to work to keep their energy up.
Right, and right now, Kristen Urban's catching up with head coach Hank Moore on the sidelines. Kristen, what does Coach have to say about this match?
Thanks, John. Coach Moore, you're coming off a tiring 5-set match against Southwestern Christian. How do you plan on keeping your girls motivated going into tonight's game?
Well, they got them some good food in them. They're ready to play.
Tell us a little bit about your opponent, Texas Wesleyan, and what your game plan is to defeat them tonight.
Well, we're playing Oklahoma Wesleyan, but Oklahoma Wesleyan, very strong outside hitters, very quick. They got two good right side hitters and 2 setters that are really quick. They run a 6-2 offense, so it's a little different than what we've seen the last few matches, but we'll be ready.
Thanks, Coach Moore, and good luck tonight. Back to you, John and Devin.
Thanks, Kristen. Although the 2 states touch, they are different schools. Oklahoma Wesleyan is not Texas Wesleyan. And today we're playing Oklahoma Wesleyan in this matchup. We're going to take you courtside for the opening prayer, national anthem, and starting lineups.
We're committed to the true spirit of competition as champions of character, embracing 5 core values: respect, integrity, responsibility, servant leadership, and sportsmanship. We ask each of you as a participant, official, or spectator to abide by these values by creating a positive environment in which our athletes may participate. Our officials may work, and you, the spectator, may enjoy. We hope you enjoy this contest. And now, the starting lineups for the Eagles. The defensive specialist, senior, number 4, Jenna Shutt. At setter, senior, number 5, Sydney Garris. Middle blocker, sophomore number 7, Kennedy Valdez. Outside hitter right side, senior number 16, Stephanie Lindsay. Outside hitter, freshman number 21, Riley Barrett. Defensive specialist right side, freshman number 50, Destiny Alipo. And at libero, senior number 15, Alexis Brown. Head coach for the Eagles is Tracy Gillette. And now the starting lines for your SAGU Lady Lions. Outside hitter, senior number 2, Callie Shaw. Middle hitter, right side, junior number 3, Madeline Harman. At center, junior number 8, Sophia Ivy. Outside hitter, defensive specialist, sophomore number 10, Nikki Almager. Outside hitter, right side, senior number 17, Suzanne Figueroa. Middle hitter, right side, freshman number 18, JC Akers. And at libero, senior number 7, Cindy Bruce. Head coach for the Lady Lions in his 18th season is Hank Moore. Assistant coach is Nick Moore.
And there you have it, the starting lineups for both teams. And this match is shortly going to be underway. You see the excitement there on the court. It'll probably take a few minutes, a few points for some of the energy to come back. Both of these teams have already played one game apiece against the same team. SAGU taking down Southwestern Christian University earlier in the day. 3 games to 2 games, win a full 5 sets, and then Southwestern Christian University playing Oklahoma Wesleyan University, and they took Oklahoma Wesleyan University down in just 3 sets. So I would anticipate, now this is not for sure, don't put me on the line for this, but I would anticipate we're going to see another 3-0 type of game, considering the Lady Lions are just absolutely on a tear.
And this probably will be a good opportunity as well for Coach Moore to try some new rotations out with his bench. We've talked a lot about the strength, and depth of the bench that Coach Moore has on his side, and games like this where you come off of 2 really intense matches last night and this morning, and then have a little more leeway here. Hopefully he'll be able to get some other players in and give some trial runs to them to get them more comfortable on the court.
And the first service is up. Great hit. Number 16 for Oklahoma Wesleyan. They are also known as the Eagles. We will call them the Lady Eagles until we are told not to. That was a good hit. Again, teed up by number 16, Stephanie Lindsay. Standing in at 5'9". She's a senior outside hitter. And we saw this, this is vaguely familiar of the first set in the last match. Lack of focus, not digging down deep and playing up to your potential.
And if you notice, the server keeps going back to Almaguer. She's made several errors back to back. And so that's what you keep doing when you find the weak link, so to speak. We know Almaguer is not a weak link, but she's making errors here. So they're going to keep serving back to her just to keep trying to get in her head.
And that was Lindsay again with a big-time shot. Callie Shaw delivering her own hot salsa. Looked like it got tipped. It was in as well, says the line judge. And you can see right, ooh, that was close, but it was tipped.
Now Ivy back to serve for the Lady Lions. And an ace.
Ivy making up for a few service mistakes last match. Coming out building confidence with an ace. Oh, the back line was a little too far up front to receive that. They decided to let it go, and it's right on the line.
We've seen a couple missed serves from Ivy today. Not something we're used to. She typically has a consistent serve, extremely reliable, but she sent a lot of her serves long today. I think that might be number 4 or 5, which is, again, really rare for her.
That looked like it might have been good. That's an ace from the Eagles of Oklahoma Wesleyan. Right on the line. Big time serve right there, putting the Lady Lions on their heels. Don't look now, but here come the Eagles. 2-point lead early. Mealer! Alexis Mealer, the freshman, delivering her own knockout punch. Great hit. Big time hit there. By number 12, Matos Torres. Tipped. Good dig. Bruce with the set. Suzanne with another swipe at it. It's defended well. Lady Lions defense keeps the ball alive. And Callie Shaw again with another kill. Not the hot salsa yet. Using a little more tomato paste salsa.
But that's a great look by Shaw, especially from the back row, being able to see through 2 lines of defenders on her side and the opposing side and look for that gap. And she saw that and dropped her shoulder for the roll shot right at the right time.
Good effort, just not enough. Jancy Akers couldn't quite get a good touch on that. Jancy Akers, big time hit. Now I've noticed that Jancy Akers' hitting style is a lot different from most of the other Lady Lion hitters. She approaches it not fully squared, but from a side view. And if you can watch that on the one of her next plays, she really develops a lot of momentum coming all the way across the ball. And when she catches it cleanly, it is very smoky. Very good hit. But number 17, Riley Roth. Looked like the defenders, that wall was just a little too far off the net. What say you, Devin?
It looked like a little bit of that, along with their arms weren't fully locked. So when you go up to block, you've got to have a really firm. Great kill there by Suzanne, the all-familiar cross-court shot. We can see that on the replay. Beautiful execution. She goes up strong, angles her shoulders, and it's perfectly placed in between the two defenders.
Surgical. She's very, very good at that specific shot. Jesse Akers again.
And you see that angle she's coming in approach-wise, like you mentioned, John. A lot of that probably is just comfort for where she feels best able to make contact with the ball.
Line judge was overruled on that, and R1 says it was in. That was very close. Big hit. Oklahoma Wesleyan. That was number 9. Boyana.
A familiar face to the SAGU broadcast, formerly playing here for the Lady Lions.
She leads the team in aces and kills. Big time hit again by Boyana. They've been scoring well. It's the first couple times that we've even mentioned her, and they've done a lot of scoring, and she is the leading kills getter for Oklahoma Wesleyan. So this whole team is getting a lot of action and being very successful. Maybe that last game just served as a warm-up game for them.
Good save by Shaw, keeping the ball in play, and Bruce steps into set. You can see the great communication between Bruce and Ivy. Ivy trusts Bruce to take that second contact because she's proven herself so many times. So Bruce steps in, sets up Shaw, and it comes away with a point for the Lady Lions.
Big hitter. And they actually are saying that only hit the net. I thought it possibly hit another SAGU player, but it did not. Point goes to SAGU. Good look.
Great save by Mueller. She has to get right back up and send that third ball over.
Deep. That's Stephanie Lindsay, who gathered the first few points. Now not quite as accurate as earlier on. SAGU rallies back with a few straight points. Your Lady Lions are up 16-13. Another sporting news, SAGU Sports News. Your Lions football team is out in the Plainview, Texas, playing Wayland Baptist today. And last we saw, they were up. And you can see there, 44-17. The Lions doing good work out in Plainview, Texas this afternoon. Looked like a good run there. SAGU easily handling their business. With a win here, that will put them 2 wins and 1 loss on the season. With a tough one coming up next week, still away, yet to play a home game. But that will be in Langston, Oklahoma at Langston University. Back in courtside with volleyball action, Oklahoma Wesleyan University and your Lady Lions. Big hit, Callie Shaw.
We've seen her do a lot of different things in this set. She has dropped her elbow quite a bit to do a roll shot, but she's also switched up the direction of her swing. So she's going to follow all the way through and have an aggressive contact. She's gone both cross court and down the line, and both have been working. So that's extra fun as a hitter when you're able to switch things up like that and have success. So we'll be able to watch for that continued switch up from Callie Shaw throughout the rest of this match.
And Boyana hits it into the net, doesn't make it over, yet another point. Big block. Looked like good defense, almost. But a big block there by Callie Shaw and Alexis Mueller. Sophie Ivy to serve. Good block. The Eagles. Mueller puts it right on the line.
We've seen a lot of out-of-the-system plays on the side of the Lady Lions as Oklahoma Wesleyan takes their second time out here in set number 1. But we've seen a lot of out-of-system plays, meaning that the pass or the dig doesn't go directly to the setting spot. So pretty common to see that in volleyball. Obviously, more often than not, you want to have an in-system play to allow the setter to have more options to choose from. But in this case, we've seen a great example in set number 1 of why Coach Moore feels that it's so important that every player on the court take ownership of being a setter when they need to be. We've seen Callie Shaw take a lot of sets. We've obviously seen Bruce take a lot. Suzanne has taken several. Alexis Mueller has even stepped in for a couple. So it's really important for all 6 of those players to be extremely comfortable taking the second play. And obviously, like I mentioned, you want a ball to be in system, but if it's not, the Lady Lions definitely have the confidence to keep the ball in play and aggressive at that.
And that timeout came at the expense of Oklahoma Wesleyan University. They have 1 timeout left for this set. SAGU still owning 2. We have Sophia Ivy. Serves in the net.
And again, we've seen a lot of that from her today, and I've said it again and again, but that's not something we're used to from her. So today might just be an off day for her serving game.
Everybody has an off day. The great thing about this Lady Lions team is there are a lot of weapons. They seem to be able more than ever to be able to absorb some of the errors that are happening. Now, obviously, you don't want to commit errors, and we saw in set 1 of the last match, they just had way too many, and they couldn't rally back to overcome But if you have a few, there's plenty of weapons for someone to have a bad game and still be able to overcome. I think they're going to call a lift on that, on Madeline Hartline.
It's a tough call, again, a judgment call, like so many of these calls made by the R1. You know, it could be considered an aggressive tip, but depending on the referee, that's going to be a violation.
Well, it did look, I would even said that was too controversial. I don't think they call it enough, but, you know, that's just me not knowing what I'm talking about.
We've seen Suzanne struggle quite a bit in these last couple rallies. They've aced her several times, and she's made some hitting errors. We've noticed some frustration on behalf of Coach Moore, and rightfully so, coming from a player who is so reliable and consistent. These errors are extremely rare by Suzanne, especially so many back-to-back. So we notice as Coach Moore calls a timeout here, I believe the last timeout was called when the Lions were up 21-15.
Yep.
So now Oklahoma Wesleyan is on a 4-point run, so Coach Moore, of course, is going to call a timeout, especially, you know, what we talked about beforehand, where this was 21-13, excuse me, thank you. So even worse, they're on a 6-point run. So obviously, you know, the Lady Lions are still in the lead, but the momentum has no doubt gone to the side of the Lady Eagles, and the Lady Lions have done all of this to themselves. Oklahoma Wesleyan has not done anything too competitive for the Lady Lions to bring back, but SAGU just keeps making error after error.
Mueller with the big hit, great defense. And that was Mueller Hartline providing the defensive wall, comes straight down. Too quick for any reaction on the other side. Finally broke the massive run. Lady Lions give it right back. It's 22-20.
And I think if you've watched the broadcast for any consecutive games, you would be able to see that the Lady Lions are not playing up to their highest level of ability, without question.
I believe that was a net call. It looked like it was very close, but because it was so close, it looked like she hit the net, and probably did. The net kind of moved up and down.
And again, you just got to trust the R1 there, because he's got the best angle, of course.
Well, other than the players, he was definitely the closest to it. Big hit. Big hit. Number 21. Riley Barrick. Wow, big hit, but even better defense. There she goes again. Riley Barrick, freshman, doing work. Bringing her team back to within one. Jancy Akers not getting all of it. Callie Shaw doing the smart thing that she does almost every time, finding the hole and making sure that she hits it. Great court vision by Callie Shaw right there.
And Ivy had several great hitters to choose from there. All front row players were ready to go, but the changeup, sending it to the back row and allowing Callie the opportunity to tip it like that is what got the defense off their mark. And there, Suzanne finishes a painful, really, set number 1 for the Lady Lions with a roll shot to the middle of the floor.
Yeah, and I don't know, maybe it's a Saturday thing. Last Saturday they played Wayland Baptist and just didn't have, you know, the on game that we're used to seeing them play. And both matches here coming out looking a little stiff, a little tight, a little stoved up. And they've got to shake out of that, get loose, and really play what their potential would allow them to play, which is much better than what we're witnessing, even in that set and even in some of these wins. And there you go. You can see coming up to the final minute of the football game out in Plainview, Texas. Your SAGU Lions are playing Wayland Baptist, owning the field today. Scores 53-17. Looks like Wayland just scored. Oh, I'm sorry. The Lions just scored. And that extra point is good. Just another minute left in this in-between break of games. Coach Moore sitting down now with his team, trying to get them focused and ready to play a better set 2.
There's no doubt that he is explaining to the team that he knows they can play at such a higher level. You know, we'll get the stats for set number 1 here pretty soon, but it's easy to see, even if you were just watching, not keeping track of anything, the Lady Lions made way too many errors in that set number 1, as evidenced by the close score on the board. And we know, as we've said many times, the Lady Lions can play at such a high level, but the temptation when you're playing a team that may not be as much of a challenge like we saw in an Oklahoma City last night. The challenge is really keeping yourself on your toes and giving yourself the room to make those impressive plays rather than just sitting back, relaxing, and thinking you can just kind of coast through the game. That's when those errors happen, and we saw a lot of that from SAGU. And a strong swing by Suzanne to start off set number 2, with Nikki Almaguer with the serve and also with the assist there.
Looked like that possibly could have gone out. Suzanne loosening up just a little bit, and you can see she's more relaxed with her swing, being very accurate, and that's one of her attributes. That maybe her strongest attribute is her accuracy. Almaguer with the dig. Very, very close. Line judge says it's out. Yeah, that was definitely out.
Almaguer had a big decision to make there. We've seen that happen quite a bit. she knew where she was on the court, and she recognized, if I'm going to have to lift my hands up to pass this ball, it's going out of bounds. And she did the right thing by letting it go.
Served up to Callie Shaw. She doesn't get all of it, but just enough to get the point. I think the net had something to say about that. Big block, Jancy Akers, Callie Shaw. Now this feels a little more like the rhythm I think we're used to seeing from the Lady Lions. The pace is pretty quick. Not a lot of rally points. Almaguer there. I think that's her first connection of the day. We see her do that a lot. Going back to the well, and they found some water. And Callie Shaw bringing her version.
You see it right there on the replay, the ball falls right in between those back two defenders, which is evidence that Shaw was able to find the hole in the block. And the way that defense works is you have a block set up to block a certain part of the court, and then your defense on the back row kind of fills in the holes. So you've got a kind of rule of thumb location for your back row players to go, which is exactly how Oklahoma Wesleyan was set up. And because of that rotation that they were in, the two blockers at the front line were tasked with covering that cross-court shot that Shaw was able to hit. So the way that Shaw was able to find that hole, it shows you that the block was not properly set because they were able to go, Shaw was able to hit right down between the two of them. So what defensively, you see that there. Yep, she goes right in between those two defenders. So what should have happened there is either the left back or middle back for Oklahoma Wesleyan should have recognized the hole in the block and shifted their defense over to sit right in the hole, and that would have recovered the ball, but instead they still sat behind the block, which allowed Shaw the open court.
Yeah, and the fact that 50 didn't get there quite in time to get up and get a bigger wall for Shaw, you've got to double block her. And I'm not sure what that call was because it looked like it came back to the Lady Lions.
It hit the antenna off of the block right there.
Oh, it did, off of the block,
yeah. Goes off of 16, making it a Lady Lions point.
Thank goodness for instant replay. And that was outside of the antenna.
You see there, number 9, Bo, as we call her on this broadcast, utilizing the block to her advantage, seeing a slight gap in between the blockers and the net, and tooling off with that outside hand.
Jancy Akers tried to pick a spot and put it there. Too many defenders. Good block. Dig. Boyana. Bigger block by Jancy Akers. She does that so well as a freshman. Her anticipation skills are more like veteran level skills.
to be a double contact on Ivy, and I think everyone on the floor knew it.
Everyone in the building raised their hand on that one. That was incredibly obvious. Oh, just looked a little wide.
Yep, looks like the referees are going to overrule the line judge.
Line judge had it in, but I could even see that from up here. We lost it on replay, but that was out. Referees made sure to call that right. Wow.
Which Pepper are you going to call that one?
She took a little bit off of this to really get the accuracy and put it on the line. So it wasn't, it definitely wasn't a Ghost Pepper or a Carolina Reaper, but I would say more of the Tabasco. The original red.
Great block there by Alexis Mealer and Madeline Hartline. Beautiful chemistry between the two of them, setting the block. And Hartline is great about getting antenna to antenna and closing those blocks.
She really does. Very, very mobile laterally. And Mealer has proven that she can get around it too. And Jancy Akers. Great defenders Coach Moore has for his future. Wow. Now that was a little closer to the infinity chili pepper.
SAGU.
14-6. SAGU definitely feeling more comfortable with this set. Even with quite a few errors, they seem to come back and make that up. I feel a little more focused than usual, at least the last couple games.
If you notice, an interesting choice by number 7, Kennedy Valdez, who just served for Oklahoma Wesleyan. She's not wearing knee pads, which, you know, if you watch much volleyball, it's really not a common thing to see. And honestly, the only other time I've seen that, many years ago for the Lady Lions, the libero Jordan then Briggs, now Sutherland, she didn't wear knee pads. She wanted to challenge herself to run through the ball instead of just falling every time. So maybe Valdez has a similar philosophy.
Or maybe she's just old school like that. Or maybe she forgot them.
Also, that might be true too.
Oh, that was tough. Two players colliding, going after the ball. Hide your eyes. Landing on her knee. Very fortunate that that wasn't an injury.
We see with this timeout, 17-7, a much more comfortable lead for the Lady Lions, which is honestly that was, you know, the kind of play we expected to see in set number 1, but the Lady Lions were a bit behind that. So luckily at this timeout, they feel a bit more comfortable and have some leeway for Coach Moore to maybe start switching things up.
And there you go, the football final. SAGU 54, Wayland Baptist 23. Win number 2 for the Lions on the football field, on the gridiron, doing work. Makes that long trip out to or back from Plainview a little more bearable when you win. Kudos to the Lions. If you're wondering a little bit about our scale, our heat scale that we apply to these kills, Callie Shaw and Suzanne, we use the Scoville heat scale. Doesn't look like my producer would like to put that up. There it is. Back to action. Now you have a little more insight on what we mean when we apply the Scoville heat scale to some of these blistering hot kill shots. That was a very nice shot.
You took advantage there of the gap between the net and the SAGU Lady Lions blockers. You notice the ball fall straight in front of them, and that's a telltale sign of not penetrating the net closely enough.
Nice hit. Suzanne relaxed into that, not trying to overkill it, but really finding the accuracy coming down the net line. That's very tough to defend, is it not, Miss Webb?
Yeah, I mean, she has that consistency of cross court, but like we've said about many other players on the SAGU team, specifically Shaw, having the ability to switch that up and really make the decision when you're hanging in the air is so much fun, but also difficult for a defense to come up against.
Point SAGU.
Just a shank hit, as you would call it. Trying to dig that out. Amagear with the service in. Jancy Akers.
We've kind of been missing the timing between Akers and Ivy. We've seen a couple great swings like that one, but unfortunately, majority of Akers' hits have been a little bit mistimed. She's gotten a lot of kills even still, but that last play is what we're used to seeing.
Yep. And one other thing that, and Jancy Akers is a freshman, so we're getting first looks this year at her style and what she brings. I've noticed consistently her kill shots come from a closed fist. That's not a very common thing. It seems like most strong hitters hit it with an open hand. Is that correct?
Yes, and Coach Moore will probably work on that because that's probably a reflex just from years of playing that way. But you have so much more control over the placement of the ball if you're able to open hand it. So that'll be, I'm sure, something Coach Moore focuses on in the years to come.
Not that we haven't seen her hit with the open hand. It just seems when she goes for it, you'll see it, her fist close up a lot more often.
And the more comfortable she gets with going with an open hand and tipping instead of just punching the ball over, the more aggressive, even in off-speed or out-of-system play, will be able to be from her. And we now see number 5, Molly McBride, back in the lineup for the Lady Lions.
Longtime leader, floor leader, captain. She goes down with an error, going right out. Her duty right there was to serve and only serve. Is that right?
Yeah, she subbed in for a couple rotations on the front row, but like we talked about earlier on the broadcast, she's coming off of a couple of different physical ailments, so that is a little bit to be expected. She's a little bit rusty, and you could tell the relaxed nature of Coach Moore with that missed serve. He's wanting to get her back in the lineup with recognizing still that she is on the mend. So, and of course with the lead like this one, they're able to let a few go like that.
Went right back to Jancy Akers after a complete whiff and terrible set the play before. They wanted to seal the deal with that play, and they did, timing it out much, much better. And Jancy Akers had a few kills. A lot of good looking kills from these freshmen.
And it's a lot of fun to see in a game like this where Coach Moore has the freedom to switch up his lineup a little bit, but at the same time, the freshmen, I think, feel a little bit more comfortable. Naturally, when you have a really high-intensity game with a lot at stake, and you, like last night, for example, against Oklahoma City, there's a lot at stake trying to fight for the first place in the conference. Those freshmen are going to feel that pressure even more so than a Callie Shaw or a Seeley Bruce, maybe. Those senior players that have been on the court for a long time, the freshmen are going to feel that. So today in this match, a little bit more relaxed, not quite as much at stake, of course, because this is a non-conference match. Obviously, they still want to give 100%. They still want to come away with a win, but they're able to relax a little bit and kind of get in their groove and learn more about themselves as a team and how they play together, which is why we're able to see so many great things from these freshmen.
Less than 24 hours ago, there were 3 teams in the Sooner Athletic Conference that were tied for first place. That was SAGU, Oklahoma City University, and Texas Wesleyan University. Last night, SAGU beat Oklahoma City University in just a barn burner. If you missed that, you need to go back and watch it. And today, Oklahoma City goes to Fort Worth and beats Texas Wesleyan. And now SAGU, as of this moment, well, even if they were to lose this, which it doesn't look like they will, but even if they were, they would still be number 1 in the Sooner Athletic Conference, sitting at 6-0. This is a non-conference game that you're watching right now, so it would have no impact on the conference. So they would remain 6-0, sitting by themselves on the number 1 slot. Your Lady Lions, ladies and gentlemen, this has been a great year so far. Coach Hank Moore has really got his team tuned up, and there's an exciting future on the horizon with such great freshmen playing. We're entering set 3. The Lady Lions are leading 2-0. 3 games in less than 24 hours. That's a lot.
Tomorrow's definitely going to be a day of rest for the Lady Lions.
As it should be. Jancy Akers ending the game, last game, with that exact same play, almost exact same placement, and starting game 3. It's a good play for the Lady Lions. Going to the back row, Suzanne delivers a punch, but it's defended just a little too long. By the Eagles of Oklahoma Wesleyan. Greatly placed. Right there, you saw a great recognition. We do not have her name on our roster list.
You see Shaw up there 2-3 times in a row trying to fight against the block.
Set not delivered very well. Shaw has to just roll one over. Nikki Almaguer tries a big-time shot down the middle from the back line, from behind the 10-foot line, I should say. Just a little too strong. Oklahoma Wesleyan was leading, but a service error knots the game back up at 3. Celie Bruce now to do the service duties. Bruce getting in, saving it. Almaguer with another error. Set 3 has seemingly been problematic for the Lady Lions when they win the first 2.
And this is going to be really important for them to be able to pull out of these errors that they've been making. We've seen Almaguer with several errors back-to-back here. But as a team overall, they're going to have to clean it up in order to not have an outcome like we had in set number 1. Even though they won, it was a pretty rough ride.
Little chicken wing deflection by number 5 for Oklahoma Wesleyan. Birthday gift right there, giving Sophie Ivy the opportunity to get one of her smackdowns.
And of course, as a setter, she doesn't really get a lot of those opportunities, so that's really exciting for her, being on the front row, having the chance to go up and swing away when she's usually the one setting others up to do so.
And our scorekeeper up in the booth says, that was a cayenne pepper.
Point SAGU.
Sophie Ivy back to serve. Golly Shaw, good placement. No one going for that second, that set there. I think that was gettable. It was awkward, but it was gettable.
I think so too. Just a little bit of self-doubt by both players that were closer to that ball. And unfortunately, you don't have enough time to doubt yourself in a scenario like that. You've got to just get up and go.
Boyana hits it very well, but I believe it would have gone out, but tipped in an effort to block. Point goes to the Lady Eagles of Oklahoma Wesleyan. You got to stop at your play.
An out of rotation call on number 3.
That's weird. She was standing completely still. But they know better than I. Oh. Boyana just couldn't get it over the net. That was a great set, by the way. Way high. Number 17, Riley Roth. I didn't see what the call was there.
I didn't either. What?
That looked clean to me. I'm not sure.
The mystery remains. Strong swing down the line there by Suzanne. No competition there.
That was much more hot than mild. Oh my goodness, great effort. Riley Roth getting it over. Big time hit by Boyana.
And this Oklahoma Wesleyan team has proven again and again that they will not give up on a ball. That was a great example right there. 3 intense plays trying to get just one rally back over, and they did it.
They say it's down. It was in. It had to be on the line. Yeah, actually just on the inside of that. Perfect placement by Suzanne. Number 21. Riley Barrick. Riley Roth trying to get it down the line, just missing to the right, wide. That would have been an excellent hit if she could have hit that line. Going across court, slightly out.
The Lady Lions are slowly pulling away here with a current lead of 8 in set number 3. Great dig by Shaw. It's a very clear double there as the ball is spinning in multiple directions.
Yeah.
Good look though by Suzanne.
That looked like a basketball shot rotation. Jancy Akers does it again. Hitting percentage is really strong these last few games for Jancy Akers. Ooh, big time hit. And the third hit gets back over. What effort. What a display of just fortitude. Never give up.
Chasing after that ball all the way back, almost running into the camera there.
Wow.
Great hustle by
I'd love to see that again. It came in a little bit after Almager's effort, but that was incredible. Here you see it. It's a great hit. Callie Shaw shanks it. Almager. That is incredible, ladies and gentlemen. Not easy to do at any level. And then the block by Jancy Akers. 17-18. The last few seconds of this timeout called by Oklahoma Wesleyan. But Coach Moore using all of the timeout. Good hit, save. Almager from the middle, just a little long again.
I mean, you're hitting from the back row. The strategy is always taught that you want to try and hit the corners of the court because you have to use so much more power, obviously, to get the ball over the net that you train to hit the ball in the corners. And you saw that went long. She hit it straight down the middle of the floor.
Almager trying again. Just putting it back in play. Kelly Shaw. Silly Bruce. Akers again. Does not come back over. Point. SAGU. It's 18-9. Good dig. Jancy Akers just doing work.
And the more Akers and Ivy are able to run that play, the better it will get because the relationship with an ace there by Suzanne, the relationship between a setter and a hitter is so important and it gets stronger over time. So with Akers being a freshman, the fact that they're already pairing up that quick set so well speaks a lot for both of their talent, and the further we go in this season, the stronger it's going to get.
Yeah, I mean, we're not even halfway through, and it's looking that good. The chemistry really between all the freshmen is amazing. That's good placement. Number 21, Riley Barrick for the Eagles. Wow. Callie Shaw just still bringing the heat. And the R1's not paying attention. Finally, he gets the message. The Lady Lions fessing up to the tip right there, ever so slightly, letting the referees know that they did indeed hit it. And the call was reversed. Point, Oklahoma Wesleyan.
We've got Ivy in the net there. She's hustling. Not a great pass, but obviously not too hard to get. But Ivy, unfortunately, falls into the net for another Wesleyan point.
Wow. Broken fingers. Oh! And Boyana with a absolute mind-blowing crush. That young lady hits the ball extremely hard. They may want to check the air pressure on that ball. See there? It was because it was deflated. We got a deflate gate going on. Not enough air pressure for Sophie Ivy to get the ball over the net. Great defense by the Lady Eagles. Ooh, and that was in. Madeline Hartline using all of the court from the middle position right there on the line. Riley Roth getting a point. This is game, set, match, point. Good defense. Jancy. No. Madeline Hartline delivering the final punch. And the congratulatory walk through the net. Well-deserved. Congratulations to the Lady Lions, and hats off to the Oklahoma Wesleyan team. Coming down, playing their hearts out in a doubleheader today. There you see the final standings for this week in Sooner Athletic Conference volleyball action. SAGU conference play 6-0, and overall 14-1. So impressive. The NAIA rankings will come out on Tuesday, and I expect fully to see the Lady Lions make a huge move from 27, and I'm going to predict it. Devin, do you have a prediction in mind? Do you have a number in mind?
I don't. Let's see what you have.
Number 10.
Okay.
I have a number 10 in mind. Anything less is just a ripoff. Are you kidding me? I'm calling them out right now. Raiders, you better recognize these Lady Lions are for real. They beat people when they have bad days.
And it's nice to be nationally ranked, to finally have that recognition now that we've had so many big wins after being ranked that way. People are going to start noticing, and Coach Morris talked a lot about how, it's been frustrating with such great play to not have that recognition. And now that we finally got it, you'll slowly see the Lady Lions climb and climb and climb throughout the season.
Right, and in the NAIA, to be fair, the NAIA is, it's not at the level of the NCAA where there is a community of raters and voters that are constantly able to see all the games. So there's a raters type system, and they have to talk amongst each other without seeing the play of these teams and just take the word for it. And so the science of it is not quite as refined as it is in the higher collegiate leagues. So you don't the ratings not quite as significant. Just because you don't get ranked really high does not necessarily mean that you don't deserve it. But a lot of times, as a newcomer to the rankings, that SAGU would be, because they're not normally nationally ranked. Sometimes they don't. That lack of exposure and history keep them from moving up too fast. But right now, as far as what I've been watching and seeing throughout the nation, as a broadcaster trying to cover and do the homework and see the play of the really good teams out there, I recognize that the Lady Lions, they are just as formidable and powerful as the top 10 teams in the nation that have been previously ranked in the top 10. So I think they deserve it. I know that sounds a little biased because we are the SAGU Sports Network, and we try not to be biased. We know we're going to be slanted, but we always want to be realistic. But I do think a top 10 is a realistic place for them to be. Now, whether they get there, well, you got to earn that. So they may have a few more weeks to get that high of, if they're not losing to get that high. We understand. But they're definitely a top 25 team. No doubt.
Couldn't agree more.
Well, there you have it. The final word from our expert, Devin Webb. Our next broadcast is going to be a mighty big one because it's the rival, the conference rival, the all-time rival for SAGU. Next Tuesday, Texas Wesleyan comes to town just a few short miles down Highway 287. They're coming from Fort Worth down to Waxahachie, and it's going to be a battle. It is going to be a big-time, barn-burning battle. You don't want to miss it. Set your calendar, September 18th. September 18th, 7 p.m. Central Time. Don't miss it. For my broadcast partner, Devin Webb, our courtside reporter, Kristen Urban, and this fantastic student crew. Didn't you enjoy that camera work? Those slow motion replays, they were on point, giving us just the ability to see and analyze, and that is so enjoyable. This is coming to you from James Lex and his crew. Kudos. We bid you a great weekend. May God richly bless you, and until next time, be well.